Oh, hey! Today, I want to talk to you about 5 different projects that you can make for your wine lover this holiday season. My name's Andy, this is Cedar River Woodworking, and welcome to the show. Hey, isn't that title screen supposed to run? So right out of the gate, I just want to say I appreciate everyone being here. We do have a big gap on the amount of people that watch our videos that are not subscribed. So please consider subscribing. Our goal is to hit 4,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Oh, hey, there's my glass. The dog father. So today we're going to talk about 5 different projects that you can make for your wine lover this season. Some of them are pretty simple, some of them get a little bit more complicated. Stick around and I'll show you exactly how we do it. For our first project, we're going to do a leaning bottle holder. These are going to be some of the dimensions that we're going to have for that. You're going to have 9 inches from the lowest cut to the top cut, an 1.5 inch hole that's going to be 7.5 inches from the bottom, and this board is 5 inches wide. You can make it just about whatever width you want. So we are going to start off this build by tilting our saw to 33 degrees. Once the saw is at 33 degrees, we're going to go ahead and cut our first angle on the end and then 9 inches up from the bottom. Once we have this board cut out, we're going to go ahead and measure 7.5 inches, and then we're going to cut a 1 1/2 inch hole at that mark. Once that hole is cut, you're pretty much done. Go ahead and stand up your board and put a bottle in it and let her balance. For our next project, we are going to be making a wine bottle caddy. These are going to be some of the dimensions that you're going to use. 10 inches wide, 5 inches tall, some 5/8 inch holes, and an 1.5 inch hole. Now we're going to be using the same board that we just cut that leaning holder out of. We're going to take our saw back up to 90 degrees and cut the end off so that we're square. Then we're going to go ahead and measure 10 inches and cut there. We're going to go ahead and lay out some layout marks here. In the center of the board, we're going to measure 1 inch from each end and then also mark the very center. The center is going to get 1.5 inch hole, and then the 2 marks that are 1 inch from the end are 5/8 inch holes. Then I'm just going to go ahead and put a profile in there. I like to use a 45-degree chamfer bit. Once you have all of your profiles made, then you're going to go ahead and set it on your bottle. For our next project, we are going to be making a wine rack that looks like this. You're going to need one 1x6 that's 6 foot long. These are the cuts that you're going to make. 2 at 9 inches and 4 at 13 inches. So with our 1x6, we're going to go ahead and cut the end off of it so that we know it's square. And then I have a stop block set up for the 13-inch cuts because there's going to be 4 of these. With a stop block like this, you need to make sure that your saw completely stops before you pull the blade back out, or you'll have a pretty bad kickback. Then I'm going to mark out 4 inches from the end of each board, and then I made a spot for where the dado is using the thickness of a board. Now, to account for the thickness of the blade, I'm going to use an 1/8 inch drill bit to space off because we're going to be cutting on both sides of this blade for the dado. I'm going to be using my trenching feature on my saw to make these cuts. Once we have them all cut out, then we're going to go ahead and slide all of these together. I did need to use a hammer to get all of these to seat correctly, but that just means that you have a really tight fit. Once we have all of those pounded together, I'm going to take the 9-inch boards and I'm going to use some 1.5 inch brad nails and brad nail these boards onto the end of it. Be careful of your fingers with these because you can have blowout on the side of these boards. Once you have it all nailed together, then you're just going to go ahead and load it up with some wine. All right, so here's gonna be another 1x6 project. This one, you're gonna need one 1x6 by 6 feet. You're gonna cut that 2 pieces at 13, 2 pieces at 5.5. Then you're gonna need 2 pieces of 1/4-inch plywood that are 4.25 by 13 3/4. So again, we're gonna cut the ends off of this board. And then because this board is 5.5 inches wide, I'm gonna use it to mark out my 2 5.5-inch wide boards. Then I'm gonna measure for 13 inches and cut 2 13-inch boards. After that, I'm gonna go ahead and set up my saw so that the blade is 1/2 inch away from the fence and 1/2 inch high. And we're gonna go ahead and cut some grooves so that our plywood can go ahead and fit inside of there. Be very careful with these cuts. These cuts are also going to be on the top and the bottom. Here you can see that my plywood did not fit, so I'm just going to move the fence over a little bit more and take another skin pass off there so that the board will fit correctly. To get the total length of what I needed to cut off the panels, I just used the gap that's on the end to mark where it needed to be. Once everything is cut correctly, we're going to go ahead and take some glue everything together, and then use some brad nails to hold everything together. We're also using 1.5-inch brad nails. They are 18 gauge brad nails. Now you can see on the one end where it slides in, I did cut the top off so that you have a little handle that'll go onto the board that slides through. I just glued that on, and you can use it as a pole. For our last gift, we have a charcuterie board. Now, I know these are pretty simple, and they might feel like they're a little bit overplayed, but they make great gifts for anybody looking to throw a party. This one is actually a cutting board that I made a while ago. It measures about 13 by 18, but it's seen more meat and cheese parties than it's seen anything cut on it. You can make these out of a single board if you want. Just trace out your design, cut it out with a jigsaw, drill a hole in it for the handle, and you're ready to go. Or you can make it as intricate as you want. So these projects have been really, really fun to do. Going from some very basic techniques to some other things, like making a dado that is a very, very tight fit. This has been a great couple of projects. I've loved making them. Thank you for sticking around till this point in the video. For now, my name has been Andy, and this has been Cedar River Woodworking, and I'll see you in the next video. Welcome. Today I want to talk to you about 5 different projects that you can make for your wine worker. Hey.